Welcome to Treepo's Cooperative Podcast, where we are bringing the world to our community and our community to the world. I'm Jay, and this week we are speaking with community member Emerald Taylor, and she'll be speaking about wearing glasses at a young age. Sounds a little strange, right? Don't worry, stay tuned. She'll also be talking about taking responsibility for your purpose, as well as Project Young Mind. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And community, welcome this new guest. This is somebody who you probably may not have heard of, but you need to know. So, I'll let you jump right into introducing yourself to the community.
Okay. Well, hello, Colorado Springs community. My name is Emerald Taylor, as Jay mentioned. And Jay, you got a really nice setup here.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Absolutely. I came to Colorado Springs about 2000, I would say 1999, November area. Didn't realize the weather was going to be so crazy because when I came back, I believe in May, and it rained, sleet, snow, all in the same day. So coming from Washington, D.C. to here, it was not only a culture shock, but I thought I was in like 5 different places at once.
That's right.
Just due to the weather. But I was married at the time. I came here via military, and I was a military spouse for a very long time. I have 2 great boys, John and Joshua. They are now 24 and 26. And I stayed here and raised them because it was a pretty good place to raise boys or kids, period. Mm-hmm. Now it may be just a little iffy. However, it's still a really great place to raise the kids.
Okay. I appreciate that. So, we kind of had a funny heading, and I want to jump right into that story about wearing glasses at a young age and let us know what you meant by that.
Well, at 3 years old, my mom and dad realized that I needed to wear glasses because I kept running into walls. And it sounds funny, now, but at the time it really wasn't. As I got older, of course, you don't wear the same prescription at 3 that you do at 10. So I've had to wear glasses up through high school, middle school, high school, junior high school, and it was not a pretty picture. They were Coke bottles and it wasn't sexy at all. Okay. So I use that analogy because I couple that to life. I couple that to me having to adjust as I've gotten older. And as I did get older in that teenage, I would say about 13 to, let me go a little bit lower, probably about 6 to about 14 years old, needing to adjust and learning yourself. Those are your learning, that's a learning period in your life. And I went through a lot mentally. I went through a lot. But I was really clear on what I wanted to be. I was really clear on where I wanted to go. I was clear on just a lot of things as far as dreams, aspirations, and desires. But it's no use of you being clear vision-wise and your mindset isn't following suit. So that's where I ran into my challenges in life.
For sure. I know also you wanted to give us some idea about taking responsibility for your purpose, and that kind of ties into all that you went through with wearing those glasses. So, I'll let you. It's your show.
Okay. Well, as I was, in regards to that, as you get older, and as this is, like you said, it's about me. So let me just hone it back. As I've gotten older, and as I've got older, all those dreams and aspirations were great, but my vision, my mental stability was not there. Not because I grew up in a bad home or nothing like that, but you don't realize what takes effect or what affects your mental stability and how you think of yourself. The warped sense of self that I had for a very, 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 very long time. The rejection, wanting to have your parents like you or love you. I'm the oldest out of 5. And although my mom and dad loves me dearly, we went through so much, they got disconnected. They got disconnected. And I think I took that more personal than my other siblings. And so wanting that acceptance and wanting that love and caring, it kind of messed with me a little bit. And then you start looking for love in the wrong places, in all places. And at that young age, you're like, okay, well, I'm in high school. Yeah, I'm very smart, but That's when you get promiscuous. As a young person, you start to dibble and dabble in things that you never thought you would. And so at a tender age of 15, I was pregnant, and I had a kid at 16 in high school, still finished with honors, still graduated. But just because that was there, I still had that mental block. I still had that thing where I was holding myself back and didn't really tap into who I was for a very long time. You know how people say, oh, you're this and you're that, you're great this and you're great that. But if you don't see it, it means nothing. The words fall to the ground.
Yeah.
And it's a dangerous place to be. And so that's where it brings me to Project Young Mind. One day I was sitting in my I was sitting in my parents' home. I was actually living with them at the time because life had taken its toll. And it was about February 2010. And at that point, I was in the basement, and it was just, you're just up. You ever just read late at night and you're just kind of reading, and I'm on the internet and I'm surfing. And I come across Vistaprint, and I'm doing something on Vistaprint. Excuse me. And as I was doodling or whatever I was doing on Vistaprint, I come across this business card. And this business card has this mechanical head. And the mechanical head had like tools, and like it was a construction card. Like it could be for anybody who's in construction. And I'm sitting there, and I believe the Lord gave this to me, and I believe this to the day that I die, that he just dropped. And I said, Project Young Mind, and to help young people get out of the stumper mentally. No matter how many dreams, we go back to the dreams and aspirations, no matter how many dreams we have, no matter how many aspirations or desires we have, you got to have your mind right. You have to have a foundation of your perspective. You have to make sure that you are not looking at things from a rose-colored lens. Mm-hmm. It's so dangerous because you can, like I said, you can have clear strategic plans, but if your perspective is wrong, if your mental capacity is off, and you have negative outlook on things, or you don't even understand like why you're going through that, but it comes with all types of, it's so many contributing factors to bad mental health. It's so many, and I don't think we really talk to our young people as much as we need to in that age range, to make sure that they can diffuse that, to let it go. I know we're talking about a lot of mental issues now, more and more in adults.
Yeah.
A lot of adults have a lot of mental issues and things of that nature, but it starts at a young age, and if you're not careful, it'll keep growing. So I just encourage parents to keep your kids engaged. Keep engaging with your children. Don't allow your life to take so much of a toll that you don't pay attention to your kids, and what they're going through. There's no telltale signs. My mom had no idea, and she probably hadn't had any idea that I went through a lot of the mental turmoil that I've had over my lifespan. And she wouldn't have, because I was still going to school. I was still happy. I was still, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like I told her, Mom, I'm having this issue. No, because I didn't really feel comfortable, for one. And I had to put on, which a lot of kids do, an image, and that's a dangerous place to be, because it kept me from a lot. It kept me from really, but I don't regret it. That's the big thing. I don't regret any of it, because it made me to be the woman I am. And I don't think Project Young Mind would have got birthed had I not had gone through those experiences.
As you were telling that story, a couple of questions came to mind.
Okay.
And one of them, and also community, jump in with your comments too on this question. Maybe this is something that you want to interact with us online about. When you were young, was there a recognition in your mind at any point that I'm coping, or I'm putting on a facade, or was there any recognition of, so long as I have this thing in my life, maybe this activity or this friend or whatever, did you recognize that as young, and do you feel like that helped you get through, or perhaps made the problem worse because you were holding on to that thing or things to cope, and then perhaps weren't addressing the root cause?
I would say yes and no. I think that's kind of I know that I stayed busy. I stayed active. I stayed very involved in the community, even at such a young age, just so I could not think about it. Some things you don't like to address. I didn't want to address certain things because, we think that we're not the common denominator of a lot of issues that happen in our life. And I found out that I was a common denominator. But because I had A, B, C, and D activities, or like you said, friends, I had A, B, C, and D friends, I would, it didn't dawn on me until I got by myself, until I'm at home, until I don't follow through with something or didn't follow through with anything. Or, and like I said, I did really good in high school. I did really well. I graduated with honors. And that was me proving to myself that I could still do it with a baby. And once I birthed Project Young Mind, I wanted the kids to know that you can still do things. You can still be functional, but it's almost like a functional alcoholic. You have your things that suppresses the issue. And I'm not an alcoholic and I didn't turn into one, but using that as an analogy, alcoholics, they use alcohol to suppress the issue. I used activities. And I think that's why I was so great at them. I excelled in what I did because I used that as my pushing point. And so to piggyback off what you said, it propelled me. And that's probably why I graduated with honors from high school. And then I did some college and, went to different colleges. But I still used information. Information was my suppressant. That's how I love to read. I love to do all those things I love information. But because my mind was so challenged as far as me, thinking like a warped sense of self, not having self-belief, not having self-love, having low self-esteem, things of that nature, it held me back. So I knew a lot of information. I was a plethora of information. People can come to me for resources and everything. But to implement all of that, it didn't happen. It took me a long time to implement and to actually follow through.
Yeah. And I see some of the parallels in that too about the implementation in my own life story. So I'm definitely connecting with you on that. All these things in life kind of lead you to this idea about Project Young Mind. And can we go a little more in depth about what would you like to accomplish with Project Young Mind? And then also give our audience a better idea of, so what is this idea all about and where you want to go with it?
Project Young Mind to me, when I thought about it and when the Lord gave it to me and that night, is more of an empowerment, allowing the young person to take control of their mind, giving them tools, helping bring out more leadership. I had so many leadership abilities within myself that I had no clue. So I didn't realize I was such an entrepreneur at such a young age, and so many young people are. They have that ability to probably break curses in their life as far as poverty is concerned because of their entrepreneurial drive that nobody's able to pull out. Nobody can identify because they don't have it in their family. So they're the how can I say, the black sheep, if you will. And so once they are starting to grow older and they got all these ideas and they're facing all these challenges that young people face now, more so now than it was when I was younger, they don't know their outlets are. You see the cutting and all that other stuff that they do, or they bully, or they just lash out in however way they lash out. I want Project Young Mind to be the movement. I want it to be a movement for them, for me to be able to speak to young kids, young adults, and express to them and help them pull out that entrepreneurial spirit that they have, one, and two, to bring out the leadership abilities. Kids want, they say this in our trainings every Saturday, in my personal trainings that I go to every Saturday as a up and coming financial coach and advisor. So everybody wants to be everybody wants to feel like they're somebody. And everybody want to be made to feel like they're important and make me feel great. Talk to me. Make me feel important. Even though we don't say it out loud, we all want to you see someone in a grocery store and you compliment their shoes, you compliment their hair.
Mm-hmm.
They want to feel, it makes them feel great. They're complimented and somebody's actually paying attention to them. That's how our young people were. That's how I was.
Yeah, I know I needed that when I was young.
Yeah, big time. And so the kids now, they got their Jordans and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, help me to make me feel better than I do today, tomorrow, the future, than I did yesterday. Help me to, I have all these gifts and talents. How come you don't see me? How come you don't see that? And I see it all the time. You see it on YouTube. These kids, they dance and they doing a little routines and stuff, and I think it's really cute. And you'd be surprised at how many kids are really talented as far as the dance and stuff. And then, that's a common thing. But what about the kids that want to tap into their mental, their mental
Talents, capabilities.
Right.
And,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Their mental capabilities and talents, because I'm really mental. I'm really that didn't come out right. I'm not really mental.
That's okay.
It's like, oh, that's not what I meant. But I'm really mind driven. I love information. I'm stimulated by mental challenges and stuff like that. And a lot of young people are too, but they're scared because they're trying to stay popular. They think it's not the thing. They're like, I'll read a book or two, but I don't want nobody to know that I like to be challenged by my through mental stability. So that's what Project Young Mind is. It's more of an empowerment. I want to be able to pull out the leadership skills. I want to be able to pull out any issues that's prohibiting them from having those leadership skills or following through with those leadership skills. And I would like to eventually implement a program that helps them build their business at such a young age, to build their business, to have like a business plan contest for a certain age range, like, essay contests, things of that nature, and then help them build it from the ground up. And they can start tapping into that stuff so their energy can be portrayed can be given to something positive, something that's going to be lucrative, and something that's going to break not only any issues in their mental generations to come, or their financial poverty in their bloodline,
Gotcha.
in their family line. Me being able to infiltrate the school systems is the goal right now, and to speak to young people. The first Project Young Mind Inside Out seminar that I held was January 23rd in 2016. I had about 12 kids. They were from some different various churches here in town. We had breakfast from about 9 to 12, and then we went through a very intense first 4 hours of the day. And it was rewarding to me as well as the young people that were involved. And they were able to break down some barriers that they didn't even know was there. So by the grace of God, I was able to have some pastors there. So that was a lot of my intervention. They were able to look in, because I still wanted to have that backing. And it turned out to be really nice. The kids walked away with, little trinkets and things that I was able to provide for them. I think we had about majority young girls, and then one guy, he said, I'm staying here. Yeah. So I said, okay, you can stay. But, I charged them like $10 so they can have some skin in the game, so they can know that, well, if I paid, I'm going to stay and pay attention, So I think the challenge for me in this whole process is really making sure that I have the right licenses if that gets to that point, because I can foresee it getting there, especially to the depth that I want to go in regards to the young people. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like the concept that of the event that you already put on, and I hope that we see more of that outreach and intervention here in the Springs. And I know community, we talk a lot about what to do about the young folks, but actually engaging them is what I'd like to encourage. And here we have somebody who can also lead us by example in that engagement. It's a person that we need to get to know And that being said, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll let you know where you can find Project Young Mind online and get more details and figure out how you can get involved if you'd like to do that. So you guys stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Thank you guys for staying tuned, and I'm gonna turn over to you to plug your website and let us know what you got coming up.
Okay. Thank you, first of all, for allowing me to be on the show. This is really nice.
doubt.
If you guys haven't been on his show, you need to. Just saying.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And so if you have any additional questions for me in regards to Project Young Mind, the site is www.projectyoungmind.com. Very simple. You will see some more information on there, and I'll be vlogging as well, so I'll keep you up to date. I am going to be doing 2 sessions at the upcoming African American Youth Leadership Conference. It's on March 7th at the Colorado College, and I will be doing 2 sessions. I'll be working with young people 6th to 8th grade. So that's going to be really interesting because I don't usually deal with that age or work with that age. I'm used to working with high school, more high school. So we'll see if they'll sit still.
They're going to put you to the test.
They're going to put me to the test. That's why I'm going to get some technology and work with them with that because I think it'll keeps them engaged. So I'm really excited for what's in store for that. So I appreciate that. And so if you guys have any questions, yet again, I am on Facebook and I am on Instagram.
Okay, so you guys go on and check that out. So I think this wraps up our episode. And if you would like to support this content, if you'd like to see more content like this, you can support Tree Post Cooperative through purchase, through donation, or by becoming a co-owner of Tree Post Cooperative. This is a cooperative platform for the community to co-own and rock this thing together. And as always, we'd like to remind you to think creatively, act cooperatively, and build community. Peace.
Bye.